Hey guys, it's Samson. And usually after not a big project or a little project, usually just after projects, I like to make just a video of me talking and going over current events that I find interesting, and that's not going to change. So let's start off with the biggest thing that happened on my For You page that had my jaw absolutely touching the floor and my skull up on the ceiling, and that was Nikocado going from, well, like what was it, like 300 to 90? What actually was it? It's like I think it was like 300 to like 400 pounds, and then all the way down to like 180, right? And like that, I listen, as a fat person myself, like I'm not abhorrently fat. I wasn't like as big as Nick, but like I'm pretty big. And so I was just thinking like if all the conspiracy theories are true that he is just pre-recording these videos and he's actually gonna do like a 10 head level like 4D chess play and turns out he was actually thin all along or something or he's like buff all along. I was like, I don't really believe it. I think he's just gonna like do something crazy with like I don't know, drama. I don't think he's gonna actually do something like that insane, and it actually was that insane, and he did it. And so I haven't actually seen much of his videos on how he lost the weight. I know that he has like a nutritionist or like what are those people called, like the dietitians, working for him that was able to like understand like his body's physiology to a mathematical understanding, and just work with that, right? So he has a great advantage that most of us don't have, and that's just money. But at least it wasn't like I genuinely think that he did lose the weight because you can tell like something that happened twice is that when he was big, that he was just uploading videos, and one day it took him like a long time to start uploading again, and he was still big when he finally started uploading again. And then when those videos just slowed down, and once again it was like like a huge amount of time, not a huge amount of time, but a significant amount of time before he uploaded again. And when he did upload again, it was that video when he was like, "I was thin all along, bitch." And so I'm thinking that yeah, he likely did genuinely lose all the weight, but he pre-recorded a bunch of videos first, and then when those went out, he just was like, well, let's. I don't really have anything else to upload, so we're just not going to upload then. And then he finally uploaded when he was ready, right? So I honestly believe he did, and which is still crazy. Like there's weight losses from like people that are like slightly overweight to like muscular, and like isn't this like a big change? And like yeah, it is, but this was a big change. Like this is crazy still to me, right? And so I'm not gonna say a weight loss journey for me, but like I've been trying to lose weight again. I haven't always been this, but I've always been chubby. I don't remember a time I've ever been thin or like fit. I've always been like chubby somewhat, but like recently, especially during COVID, I got way bigger. So I'm trying to at least go back to my size that I used to be. Like, if you want to have an idea, I didn't always used to wear like 38, 30, or I think I used to be like 20 something 30. My legs are, I'm 5'9", so my legs aren't really that long, but um I used to like 38, 30 husky size big dude. And even then 38, 30 was like not even fitting anymore. Thankfully now it is again. So I'm slowly getting back to that position where I can just get back to like my normal weight and then just decide if I want to continue from there or just hang out at that spot. But if Nick can do it at his size and get to how thin he literally used to be, like you can go to like those ancient videos and see just how like teeny he like once was. He could go from as big as he was to like a little twink again. I know that sounds offensive, but he literally is now a twink again. That's crazy. And you know what? If Nick can do it, I say I can too, and so can everyone else. I guess it really is just down to patience. Fuck it. That's all the proof I need. So that was really cool to see. The other one that caught my attention for not so good reasons was another internet, not celebrity, another internet like spotlight on one of these like weirdos again, and it's like this Schoolboy Nine thing. So I didn't really hear much about it. I like heard people talk about it a little bit on like TikTok, because that's like that's where basically all the most random mainstream just rumors and news comes from. And so I don't really pay attention to it until it comes to like a 40-minute YouTube documentary, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's actually happening. And it's so weird. Like there's so many. There, to be fair, there is no good. There has never been any good ways that pedophiles have made themselves known. But this has got to be one of the strangest ways I've seen it. Like multiple accounts of just horrible PNG, like um, early ass Adobe Photoshop renders, just talking to each other. It's so weird. And oh my God, his face. Or like I said, I'm big. I don't really have that much leeway to the dog and other people's appearance, but dude, is his tongue like rotting? Like I was looking at the at these videos of him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, his tongue is like literally bloating and rotting in his mouth as he's speaking. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if he is speaking. Like if you look at the way he talks, like it seems like it's some sort of like a face, like lower face mask that he's just, I don't know, painted to look like it. Like his face is usually painted white, but not it's not always painted fully white. Usually it's the one part of his face is 100% always white, is like his jaw and like his mouth basically. Like the rest of his like upper head can just be like his normal skin color, but that will always be white, his mouth. So I'm thinking, okay, Turkey Tom may be right. It may be just some sort of creepy ass like face mask that he has on, because how the fuck do you get your tongue that bloated, that dark, and still talk right? It makes me want to gag every time I see him like exist. Fuck me. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding when I say that. Okay, but dude, the internet has the right to go crazy over something like this, but the internet should still really take a step back and like hold off from doing anything major, because as we've seen, uh, apparently people have gone to his house. They've like done like the. Does anybody remember the Shia LaBeouf "He Will Not Divide Us"? And then like the millisecond that came out, everyone found out where it wasn't dogged on it. Just trolled the fucking location in real life. So chances are they're likely we're going to find his location, and it seems that they have. I'm not going to say they did. I'm going to say that it seems like they have. It seems like they have successfully found his location, started throwing bricks instead, like bricks at his windows. So now that his windows are boarded up, if it is him. Granted, it's keep in mind this is where is he? Like the UK. I know that in the United States our houses are basically just squares, but in the UK, like, come on, man. Like 50 of the houses look the exact same. So I don't know how accurate these guys have gotten it. I mean, technology's gotten better. People have gotten way better at like figuring out how to dox people with just like one photo in like 2016, and then like boom, they got the location. But one, it's not gonna look good for like if I was gonna say like it's not gonna look good for him in court, but everyone on the internet saying that UK police are basically shit and they don't really like look into stuff. And I understand that people have the problems with American police, but at least in the United States, I can look up the American laws pretty easily, and like live in America. So there's like what's written versus what you see that I can like judge based off of. But in Britain, I don't know. So maybe they might do something, maybe not. And if it turns out if they can't do anything, because if you, one of the biggest memes there is every time something goes down, like something crazy like a shooting, the FBI comes out like the next day saying he was on our radar and we were looking into him. And people are always like, why the fuck didn't you do anything then? And usually it's because the reason being it's not the best reason. It's the best reason for why it's the best reason for following like their orders and like their rules. But uh, what it is basically they're gathering evidence, basically just gathering a bunch of stuff, like literally every possible thing they can get on someone, and then they just compile all that. They structure it, right? It's not just gathering evidence and then going to court. They gather everything, they structure it, they make sure that one, he's still in the country as well, so that if they can pursue him, they can do it within like their bounds or whatever. And then finally, there's gonna be like boom, taken down. He can try and fight in court. Whoever this like X is, right? He can try and fight in court. He's not gonna win. He's likely not gonna win at all. So that's the reason why the FBI and like these big investigating like firms take so long to like do action, right? And it's because they're gathering evidence. And the reason that they do that so long is so you don't have a Mama Max situation. Because if we remember with Mama Max, um, his thing was, well, turns out he really never did any investigations. So the first time he actually did do an investigation was not the God cult. God cult was his cult, but the vampire cult, right? And so when he finally decided to get off his ass and like do something, right? He didn't do it very well. And the millisecond he heard something, he brought it out to light. So that's something the FBI wants to avoid. So that let's say that they do have something like somebody did do something like illegal, like even if it's like a testimony or like straight up fact, they're not just gonna pop up and just take this guy to court immediately. They're gonna take that as something like that happened, right? And then gather everything else, the whys, the whos, the whats, the whens, for every possible fucking reason, location, um, history, and then they verify like all that stuff, just so they don't have a Mama Max situation. And so for this guy, right, Schoolboy Nine, so if the UK police are going to do anything, it's likely not going to be for we're not going to see it for like a while, and that's the unfortunate thing because after a while, it's just going to be either assumed whether or not they're still investigating or they just haven't done anything at all. So it's not even worth waiting for them. Otherwise, if they do something, then I guess yeah, it is worth the wait. That however long it took to get him on like a lot of things. So it's not just getting him on one thing. They like governments do their best to try and get you on a lot of things. That's what they mean when they say throwing the book at you. They are getting you on every possible thing that is written for literally any reason that they have, mind you. So if this guy does get caught with anything, like I said, it's not gonna be. We're not gonna know for a while. And speaking of investigations, this brings me to the next thing that's been on my radar, and that is the fucking Mr. Beast stuff. So you guys remember a while back, not a while back, but a little bit ago, when I was like complaining and like literally just complaining and screaming, like how the fuck did like Chris or Mr. Beast get away with this shit for so long? And that's all. Like that's just me complaining with all the stuff that we know now that's come out. Dogpack is basically doing like not the same thing, but basically just crying out with all this stuff coming out in the open, and it's almost not verifiable. Like at least with Chris, we saw video footage of the sexualized kid, picture framed and hung up on a wall that Mr. Beast was looking at in a video from like ages ago, as well as the Jeanette McCurdy thing, which was also, keep in mind, a video that was posted and you can still find. So yeah, that is not speculative. That is literally proof that you can just see for yourself. So the difference is that Dogpack seems to have been doing the same thing Mama Max is, except with less malice and more stupidity. So for those unaware, this guy has been coming out like saying like all this and that about Mr. Beast and like coming up with like all this stuff and like saying that all the the victims and not the victims, just people whoever are saying this about him, right? And he puts it in his video, and later on when he did like a what's it called an interview with Umperville, he was like an infamous part that's gonna haunt my memories going forward is when he's talking to Umperville and he's like, not everything I should like, not everything they said was like truly verifiable, and but I still put it in. And he gives an example where it's like someone said something about like an employee, and he's like, I don't know if that's true. I haven't heard anybody else say about anything about that, but if it is true, I just put it in anyways. Like, what the fuck, dude? You fucking dumbass. Oh my goodness. It's literally just a Mama Max situation again. And so for those further unaware of anything that happened with Mama Max was this dude was doing an investigation on I'm gonna have heavy quotation marks, like heavy finger quotes that you cannot see, investigation of these people, not these people, it's this dude, Camden Gerard Davis, that was allegedly just picking up girls all over the country and just turning them into like his little role play vampires and then just disposing them whenever he liked, right? That was basically what was commonly said. There wasn't too much that even though like Spencer did say that what stuff that actually was illegal, like rape, there's nothing to verify it. So even if she says like there actually was something illegal to go on, I don't fucking know how to prove that. I don't think anybody else really does, like besides the police, because you know what the police can do? Warrants. They have warrants that they can do to actually like get deep in like investigations. I don't. I don't really have any of that. Nobody on YouTube does. So unless the police actually are doing anything and something does come out, eh, don't believe fucking shit. I know it sounds mean, like what? Don't believe victims, so you want to believe abusers? Don't believe fucking anybody. Mom, listen, this fucking stuff, like allegedly, all these years, has just made me so cynical. It's like, dude, I don't believe any of you for literally anything. Because one, we've like seen it reinforced plenty of times. People will lie in court and manipulate the jury just for the outcome that they want. And sometimes they're successful, like with I forgot how do you forget that name? The actor that murdered his wife, uh, from like the '90s, right? With the black gloves, remember? Like sometimes they're successful when they manipulate the jury, other times they're not. With Amber Heard, so yes, just because it's alleged doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking believe it, and just because like there's alleged victims and alleged abusers, I don't believe shit until I see the evidence, and until something in court, like you can see the evidence presented to you, and then you can finally make of it what you will. But unless it's documented in court, I'm not gonna believe shit. So, like I said, with Mama Max, he was going with unverifiable just everything and trying to like toss it all at this Camden guy, and he was getting pissed that nobody else was doing the same thing, that nobody else followed in his footsteps, and this is the part of where it's like malicious and stupid, because stupid thing, especially he was like the victims want it, the victims want this. I could give a fuck what the victims want. What the victims should want is how to do this properly, because if you don't do this properly, you literally get this situation where if Camden actually is under investigation, Mama Max just undid all of the evidence the FBI could have possibly been doing, if they were doing anything at all. Chances are, if it actually was malicious and they actually did, it's the FBI. Let's just say that they don't always, let's just say they don't always follow the rules, and let's just say they don't always, go by the books. Like if they want you, like let's just say they're gonna get you, on the book or not, they're gonna get you. So chances are, if Camden actually was doing anything wrong, like not anything wrong, anything illegal, I should say, if he was actually doing anything illegal, chances are he would likely was already being investigated. But Mama Max just fucked everything up. I guarantee that. I guarantee that if the FBI were going to do anything in court, they're likely probably going to maybe not even do it anymore because of this shit. So another thing too is like his work, his investigation was ass, but also who he was associating with was also retarded too, like Spencer. So if you really want to get like real in depth with this, I recommend you watch 3 videos that I did, and I like watch these videos routinely because I'm still trying to like wrap my head around this. And this happened like a year ago, right? Not a year ago, so like months ago. Like this still went down, and I'm still trying to process it. So the 3 videos if you're curious, I want you to watch are the leaked Discord call with Nicholas Durio, Mudahar, Mama Max, and Spencer that came out once Mama Max and Spencer threatened to sue them for defamation. So they're like, fuck it, here's the call. And so there's the call to watch. The second thing I want you to watch is the other Discord call that Nicholas Durio had with a bunch of other content creators where they basically went over the Discord call that they filmed, like, and then they started like picking apart what they thought, what what's basically fact checking the Mama Max and like Spencer in real time. Like that's the other one I want you to watch. And the third one is just Mudahar's video, where he like talks about like his association with Max and the downfall of everything that happened. Like those are the three videos I want you to watch if you are curious. Um, it's very clear that Max had a pattern of this malicious behavior and arrogance, and it was only a matter of time that this shit happened, right? So that's why I think Dogpack is not in as bad of a situation as Max, but he's still in a pretty bad situation, given he's just like taking a bunch of stuff that's just hearsay and just presenting it as fact or presenting it as something that you should pay like serious attention to, even though there's like nothing to back it up. And I understand that people can be like real upset about this and be like, oh well, not and just because like one person can be wrong doesn't mean like everybody's wrong. Or like if enough people say it, there's got to be something behind it. Like sure, like there can be something behind it, but like I said, I'm not gonna believe fucking anything until I see verifiable proof. And I know it's not like anybody's job to present proof to me specifically, but to provide proof in general for people to look into and to actually see for themselves on the internet specifically. Yeah, I say that is like a responsibility if you're doing an internet investigation. Otherwise, if you're just actual law enforcement, then it's probably not a good idea to present just the second you see something verifiable and you just show it, right? Because, like I said, the police are gonna have to gather absolutely everything and then go after like these guys. So yeah, it's just once again the same situation again that people just weren't. I thought we learned our lesson with Max, dude. I thought we did, but apparently not. So that's why Dogpack has gotten so viral because apparently we have not like learned our lesson. Um, Hopefully, if there is actually anything that is verifiable, he probably could just present it. But given how much he's fucked this up, he's gonna have to do this like the police now. Gather all this information up that you absolutely need, not want, need to gather all this information and then present it afterwards. Like and with like actually as a matter of fact, if he's curious about Mr. Beast going to court for any like misdoings or like wrong deeds or whatever, probably give this to the cops, right? If you do have all this verifiable stuff, give this to the cops. And of course, like I said, it's take some time because they're gonna verify it because they don't fucking know you or anything about you. So they're gonna verify it. And then they might even just reinvestigate just so they can make sure that everything you said is true, which may also count as verifying, but you know what I mean. And then if it actually is truly sustainable, they might genuinely go after him. But honestly, the most I've seen is that he hired a pedophile, which, funny enough, isn't illegal. Like it should be it is definitely immoral to hire a pedophile um for a kids channel like Mr. Beast. Like that's just retarded to do. Even if it is like a family friend, that like oh like I know that he did wrong, but he was a family friend or what like a best friend's family what a friend or whatever the fuck it was, and like so I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt or the chance. Not a very good thing to do in general at all. Like it's not illegal to hire people that have criminal records, especially severe criminal records. It's just looks bad, which is why most people that do have severe criminal records don't get hired. It's not because they can't; it's because people just don't hire them for usually good reason. Um, so yeah, that's also one of the things that he kept bringing up. It's like, yeah, it's not that's immoral, but it's not illegal. Like the cops probably aren't really going to do anything about that. But that's just been like rolling around in my head. It's like, dude, Jesus, goodness Christ, we literally learned this lesson a while ago. It was big news, and this dumbass did the same thing again. It's just like, what the fuck, man? Um, that's basically all of the Mr. Beast stuff. Just a lot of once again unverifiable fucking information. Not proof. Not even like testimonies that people that anybody can verify. Just stuff he's saying, and he wants you to take seriously, which is Once again, just stupid. It's not really malicious because well, I think it is kind of malicious because in his interview he said that he wanted to be the Domino, the Domino to knock down Mr. Beast, right? So it's like, okay, so you're not really doing this because you feel like you have an obligation to do this story properly. You're doing this because you kind of want to see Mr. Beast's empire fall, right? So it's not so yeah, it is still malicious, but it's not as malicious as Max. Like Max had so much shit like come out. Like everybody, please tell me you guys still remember the video where he's like, "I could literally cancel you, Charlie, and I choose not to, and I choose not to. I'm the fucking pedo hunter." It's like Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking arrogant douchebag. And you know what? I'm glad that's what he'll forever be remembered as. Even in his video when he came back, he's like, mass psychosis is a real thing. And he has like this hyper detailed like graphics of like just eyes like on the screen. It's like, get the fuck over yourself, man. Like you're not that fuck. You're not him. You're not that guy. All right. You're not fucking Chris Hansen. You're not Dirty Harry. You're not fucking Batman, or you're not some like vigilante that like does shit like nobody else will do because like you're the tough guy. You're not fucking anything. All right. So I'm glad to see like his career most of all is forever finished, and people will follow. I know I understand that people are going to be following it like bad people or the people that uh, like that people think is bad, especially. But bad people too, just forever for the rest of their lives, and just never let them forget anything. Never let them forget their past. So I am confident that Mom Max can have a very, very difficult time finding employment for anything going forward. Uh, I doubt he even has the military because like that's always been the joke that if you have nowhere else to go, just join the military. You know they'll give you something to do. And so the funny thing is, I think he was dishonorably discharged from the military. I think he was just either discharged or dishonorably discharged. Either way, I don't think I don't think the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, even the fucking like Space Coast Guard are gonna want to have him again. So he kind of just got nowhere else to go but like sling drugs, I assume. So that's kind of the end of that saga. Thankfully, it has come to an end. Oh man, like I know that's not current events anymore, but dude, I can't tell you how mind-numbing it was to see that interview go down. And he's like, "Oh my God, that one part when he's like, why are you putting this all on me? Like, why are you saying that this is my responsibility?" And it's like, dude, what? Like, I understand you're not the fucking. I understand like you're not like the a private like an actual private investigator or even like a real investigator that works for like the city or whatever. But like, come the fuck on. Like you're the like you found this. You bringing this out in the open, and you're telling everybody else about this to get on board. And you're like, why is this my responsibility to like continue this investigation? It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dumbass? Like, oh my goodness. And his association with Spencer. So the funny thing about Spencer and why that probably wasn't a good idea to use her as like your main source of this information was not that she could be wrong, but because if she's right, that doesn't look good. So something about Spencer that you should keep in mind is that in her own testimony and like her in her own words, she admits that she was a recruiter for Camden. So if she's wrong and lying about everything, then one, that's just gonna be fuck her forever. That she brought all this shit up about just some dude that had likely keep in mind Occam's razor. It's likely there's just some role play server that just got out of hand, and maybe nudes were sent, which could be an illegal thing to get Camden on. But aside from that, I don't honestly don't think anything that crazy went down. But that's if she's not. That's if she's wrong. If she's right, then she worked for Camden for it's like what is it, like months or like even years. I think it was just months to years. I don't remember exactly. I have to watch the video again, but that she worked for Camden recruiting underage girls so that they could like sleep with them. So let's say that she's right. You are working with the recruiter that got these people traumatized if she's right. Which is like, dude, you do not want that. Like even if all she's saying is true and could be verified, that she's just not choosing to verify or just choosing not to provide the verifiable information. Like even if all that was true, that is not a good look. That you're working with the fucking son of a bitch responsible for everybody's trauma going forward. Not a good look at all. The other thing too was oh yeah, also just the way he not the way he handled the investigation, already said that, but the way he was showing the investigation was also completely retarded. So another thing too is that he keeps saying that he's a filmmaker. And you know what? If fucking Mama Max is a filmmaker, then I guess I'm a filmmaker too for my GTA cinematics. Then I guess I'm fucking Martin Scorsese with American Patriot too. Because no fucking way this fucking like filmmaker out here is doing pedo investigations in a super hot, like stylized artsy style and presenting them all as real. And then the second he's confronted on, you're presenting all this as real, right? The second he's confronted with that, he's like backpedaling it and going, oh, I don't want you to believe any of my videos are real unless I give dates, faces, and other verifiable information. It's just like, you son of a bitch. Like, come the fuck on. So, if you don't remember, in his videos about like Camden, like this infamous part when he's showing how dangerous and how evil Camden is, and he plays like that 144 p video of like Camden going, "Ugh, ugh," and cuts the static, low rumbling, and then just 70 text messages appear on screen, like not text messages, 70 text prompts just appear on screen in like a millisecond. And apparently, if you were to stop it, to stop the video, pause the video, go to your arrow key on your computer and start tapping that every now and again so you can read the letters, so you can read the words. That was meant to be his not proof, but just his thing. The reason he was going after Camden. It's like, dude, you don't want to have actual verifiable information that if there even was any, right? Any information at all, just to be thrown in like a 70 millisecond a moment in a 42-minute video, however long it was, 20 minutes I think. So it's like, dude, come on. And also that other thing, I think I brought this up earlier, but he was the victims want it. He brought this up a while ago, way back when the Some Ordinary podcast was still a thing. I think I was in what was it? Oh, yeah, I was in mid senior year when this happened. But he came on to Some Ordinary podcast and he was just talking with Mudahar and everybody else. And this was during I think Pick a Side. And during Pick a Side, Mudahar or somebody asked why he does his videos the way they are, so aggressive and so just on the nose and aggressive specifically. And he's like, well, it's what the victims want. And I was thinking about that, and I thought back to another video, what was it, an investigator that works with victims a lot, and he was it was an interview with that investigator, and he was like, the victims are going to want blood, especially if they've been traumatized in a very awful way. They're going to want hardcore revenge, basically. But the thing is you got to restrain yourself to not give them what they want, even and it may come off as cruel, but the reason being is that it's just not the way you do things, right? They're so traumatized, they might still be processing whatever they went through, but you do not go after whoever you're going after hard, because if you do, you're gonna make rash decisions. You're likely not gonna have all the proof you need to go after them if you can get them in court, all this other stuff. And so I was thinking about that, and I was like, even way back then, it's this guy probably shouldn't be working with victims going forward, because okay, I understand like I said, I understand the victims are gonna want revenge or whatever. But that guy said in that video from a long time ago, just because they want it doesn't mean you should fucking do it, right? It's I know it's gonna come off as mean, but it's the same mentality for a little kid. If a little kid wants $100 $100 is actually pretty cheap nowadays, but $100 Lego Star Wars Death Star set, right? And the little kid's crying and begging for it, but you as the parent gotta have the responsibility to be well, we're kind of tight on money right now, so you can get the $30 Lego set, but we're not going to get the $100 Lego set. I know that comes across as cruel to compare the two, but it's basically the same mentality and principle. Just because somebody that you might care about wants it doesn't mean you should do it just because they want it, right? There's wants and needs. The victims might want blood, but they need to have this all verified and presentable in court so that you can have a really, really good fighting chance to sway the jury and the judge to get this guy gone, right? And that's what Malmax did not do. He did not do any of that. He just went off of whatever they said and just presented that as fact. And he's always like, I believe them. And in that also in that same Discord call, he was like, I haven't talked to any of them. I've only ever conversed with Spencer. It's like, okay, so you believe them is one thing, and that's honestly nothing. Like, I understand if like your sister comes up to you in like the day and says that somebody was mean to her, that you're like just gonna believe it. I'm like, there's no shame in that, right? But if somebody like some random stranger comes up to you on the street and says that somebody robbed you, like somebody robbed them, and then you see who they're pointing, it's like just some Joe. Like, yeah, some Joe could have just robbed her and then just walked off like secretly so he could not get caught or like made as easily, right? Otherwise, Occam's razor is I don't think that's the guy, right? The truth is that just because somebody says something and you believe it doesn't mean shit in a court of law. And that's also the funny thing. I don't think he was trying to go for a court of law. I think he was just trying to like damn this guy on the internet entirely. Because oh yeah, he was also using Chat GPT. That also came out in the Discord. Like everything came out in the Discord call. Like in the Discord call, Mudahar was like, "Well, like don't give me Chat GPT, bro." And then Max was like, "Chat GPT knows the legal system." It's like, do you even know what Chat GPT is? Like, it's not like some AI lawyer that is specifically made and tailored, mind you, made and tailored to recite law from every corner of the planet. No, it just creates prompts based on whatever information's fed to it. And that information could be right, it could be wrong. Like that's like saying that AI pictures know what humans look like, even though 90% of the time AI pictures give humans like fucking 4, 6 fingers, right? Like, come the fuck on, man. You were no fucking way you were using that for anything beyond just giggles. Because he should not have ever done this. Because, like I said, and like I keep saying, if there ever was anything to get Camden on, it's all in the air now. Because good luck trying to get him on anything else if there was anything to begin with. Because, Jesus, dude. The worst investigator. The worst investigator. Uh, Oh yeah, and also this other thing, he keeps also presenting himself like he was vigilante, like he was doing the thing that nobody else wanted to do. And like, dude, you're not like you're not Dirty Harry. I keep saying that you're not Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry got off his ass to do what the bureaucrats couldn't, and that's actually put these guys down with a 44 Magnum, right? Like he's like Dirty Harry went up to a bank robber, pulled out a Smith and Wesson, and was like, he's like, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" Like all the bureaucrats in the movie would be so, and they actually were in the movie, like so angry that he would just do all this shit in the movie because it's not the way you do things, it's not the law, right? But Dirty Harry doesn't give a shit. He is the fucking law. He is justice. He doesn't fucking care about anybody but justice, right? He could give a fuck what you are, but he will put your ass down if you're up against him, right? Like that's like a legal-ish vigilante from like media. And like that's what he's trying to present himself as. He's trying to present himself not as like Batman or not as like the Punisher, but like someone that can like bring this stuff to court as well as someone that's like above the law. So he's neither. He was never above the law. He's honestly below. He's like a little bitch dog below the law. And as for the vigilante stuff, at least fucking Punisher got jacked so he can beat criminals out in the fucking night with like a Desert Eagle, right? He's just sitting in his room, like using the fucking Batman voice changer. And, like, keep in mind, the funny thing is that also he just lies about random stuff. Like in one of his videos, he's like, "This is the way my voice actually sounds. Like I pitch my voice to sound higher because I actually do have a deep voice." It's like no, like you hear the way he normally talks, he sounds just like me. Like he has my kind of like my kind of like light voice. He does not have a deep voice. And like even in the call, like you can hear him talk and he's like trying to have a deeper voice. Like the first time when he speaks to someone in the call, like Nicholas Diorio is like Max, even your Discord entrance is cryptic. And he's like, I guess so. Like, he's still trying to be so edgy, and he's just not. He's trying to be like this emo, edgy, like, girls finger themselves to me kind of like emo guy. But honestly, nobody's touching you. Not even gays want to touch you. And, oh man, dude. This is just the worst person to ever work with, the worst person to ever do anything, right? Oh man, and oh yeah, I didn't finish this. So I didn't finish it. I wanted to get back on this. I just got completely sidetracked. So pick a side, right? So if you don't remember, pick a side was pick a side YouTube, pedophiles or children. So that was Max's thing. Like he spearheaded it. He made it like this big thing, and YouTube eventually picked children. I guess if you want to say it's a win, but another reason that I really didn't like Max in the beginning is just the pick a side in general. Just the fact that it existed. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the calm before the storm. You know what that is? That was the adpocalypse, and the adpocalypse was caused because this dumbass YouTuber was like, Taco Bell. Did you know that you have an ad playing on some dude like uh I don't know, just some video of some dude telling some like 9-year-old to spread her legs, and he was like going to all these advertisers, and he was like he was trying in quotation marks to do the right thing and to get all these pedophiles to not have revenue on YouTube anymore. But the problem is that advertisers don't really care about the right thing; they care about money. So the second they heard that all this shit was going on YouTube, they're like, okay, we're just gonna pull all this back and be very restrictive of who we give ads to. And that was the apocalypse. Well, basically the start of it, right? And so it was like, son of a bitch, you retarded motherfucker. Like you fucked everybody. You didn't you were trying to fuck over pedophiles, but you fucked over everybody hard. Hard, dude. And so and so I was thinking about that again because it's like, dude, you do not want to get like mainstream advertisers this pissed off again, as well as YouTube to be like this paranoid again. And that's what he did. He did try to make them that paranoid again. And as oh, dude. And oh yeah, I think even he got a little bit. I think he even got a little bit of praise in that what's it called? The podcast episode too. I think he got just like a smudge, a little bit of praise. It was like, dude, don't compliment this retarded dumbass for like any of the shit he's doing. He's gonna cause everybody to give him mischief. He's gonna give everybody a fucking mischief just for his existence, and he did twice. Pick aside YouTube, and the other thing. Come on. That's basically it. I hope that if we can, I'm just hoping that we can finally learn our lesson because we did not learn a Max. We did not learn a Max twice, mind you. We failed to learn our lesson from Pick a Side, and we clearly failed to learn our lesson from God Cult. So, son of a bitch, dude. And Dogpack is doing literally the same thing, but like I said, less malicious. There's still malice behind it, mind you. It's just not as much malice as like Mama Max. And listen, hopefully Max never gets a career again. I honestly don't believe there's any good in his heart. Like I said, you can take anything I'm saying at face value. I recommend that you actually look into this so you can see why I'm so frustrated with his character. But like I said, I don't believe there's any good in his heart. I personally don't believe there's anything good he could ever provide from the world unless he like literally has a lobotomy that forcefully changes who he is as a person. In which case, you know what? Sure, work at McDonald's. But yeah, that's basically about it. I can't believe this actually happened 3 times, man. 3 times bullshit allegations just got through and got under everyone's skin on the internet. This big twice. So you know what? That's just what the unfortunate way I'm going to end the video. Uh, People are clearly still stupid that they believe a whole bunch of shit that's just not verified at all. And the only thing I really have to look forward to going forward is 2025 because you know what? It might still be a chaotic, crazy year, but at least the movies are going to be crazy and the games are going to be crazy too. So I just hope that the games come out good. I hope that if Battlefield 6 is rumored to actually be in modern day, that we please, and I know they said this, but listen, I remember Battlefield 5. They said a lot of shit during Battlefield 5 when we're like, okay, we're gonna allow medics to drag wounded to cover. We're gonna allow like no more like laying on your back. We're gonna allow like all this other stuff, and they did not do shit. Literally did not do any of that at all. So you know what? I still don't know how much I trust this new Dice team because keep in mind the people that made Battlefield 5 are not the same people that made Bad Company 2. Like employees change over the years. Like you might hear that Rockstar like lost a lot of employees or something. It's like, oh my god, they lost all their employees. They didn't lose employees. Like that's what news outlets say. Chances are that they likely just switched out employees because maybe just somebody left to go work for like EA or something, or maybe somebody just retired. But those numbers get filled up quickly again. So, like I said, the same people that worked on games ages ago are not the same people that work on not exactly the same people that work on modern games, right? So, hopefully, my favorite franchise can somehow please survive because you guys know that I like COD. I also grew up with Call of Duty, but I was always a Battlefield guy for like literally years. So many years, I was always a Battlefield guy first. And I only recently became a COD guy because, Five just sucked so much ass. And 2042 wasn't looking too good either for like the majority of its lifetime. So that's how many years is that? So Battlefield is like 2 year cycle. So that's about 4 years plus now that I've been a Call of Duty guy. But trust me, I've always been a Battlefield guy. And you know what? Also, something to keep in mind too for going forward for Battlefield is I don't know how many Battlefield players now are Battlefield guys, right? Because something to keep in mind is that Battlefield 2042 fucked up the whole system, right? Like the assault class not always had assault rifles, but the assault class has always been like had their thing, had their assault weapons, the medic, engineer, recon, always those four things, and it was always Muslim as well, right? As well as that the web you could not change what weapon class you had. You could not change what gadgets you had per class, right? That was the thing. That's how you encourage team play. As well as that, for squads, you usually hung around your squad. You usually would just hang around like your squad, like whatever your squad was doing, the squad leader would like assist in that. So let's say your squad is just hanging out like alpha, right? And they're not really doing anything, but just like defending it, just hanging out at it. So the squad leader would likely not just say, go take this base like way over yonder. They're likely gonna say just hold alpha so you can get points for holding it, right? Or if it's just that easy, go take another base, and the squad leader would say that. And usually people would follow the squad leader. But dude, that whole system is just all out of whack with 2042. Because like you have operators now, which like I guess was like a kind of a cool idea that each class had their own subclass of like abilities, which like, it seems like cool on paper, but I don't know, it just doesn't really work that well. As well as the fact that I know that shared weapons used to be a thing, but back then it used to be like a shared subset of like a small handful of weapons, not the entire arsenal you can have to your pack. So you know how annoying it is to see a medic on a building with a sniper rifle. Not because he picked up a sniper. Keep in mind, if you picked up a sniper rifle, you didn't pick up a sniper rifle back then. You picked up the sniper class. You switched classes. So if you had defibrillators, you don't. You now have a spawn point. You now have like a spawn beacon, right? So it's not even just like a medic that picked up like a sniper rifle hanging up there, which well, doesn't happen, mind you. It's a medic class sitting all the way up there with their chosen sniper rifle that they spawned in with. It's like you stupid motherfuckers. What were you thinking with the shared weapon system? At all. Oh yeah. And also engineers with assault rifles, which motherfucker. Come on, man. Like that's the whole point of team play. That's the whole reason that separated Battlefield from Call of Duty. Because in Call of Duty, you're not like a squad. You're not like an army. You are an elite squad, which kind of made sense for why you could have any one of your unlocked weapons to your disposal because you actually are operators. small squad, high class operators that are operating in these like small little close quarters like combat bases, right? But in Battlefield, you're not highly class trained professional like United States Marines like MARSOC, right? No, in Battlefield, you're just the whole army going after like a whole bunch of stuff. Well, in Battlefield, generally you're the Marines. Most times, most often. Uh, but in recent times, it's like also army as well as Marines, right? So yeah, even then in the Marines is like it's not just like a small handful of like dudes. It is still like a whole army of people, right? So in Battlefield, it always made sense to have team play like that, very restrictive to the to what classes you were, so that it's like okay, if our team is getting fucked by a tank, I guess I either gotta find like an engineer kit or I just gotta kill myself and respawn as an engineer, which might cost a ticket. Yeah, it usually does straight up cost a ticket, but it'll cost a ticket, but it'll mean I'll get that damn tank to stop pursuing us, right? And that's the team play, and the team play was always like very easy to work with back then too, because it's like the classes weren't that hard to get used to. It's just the main skill point of Battlefield is like trying to work as a team. And Call of Duty, the main point is trying to you to be the best operator and like killing everybody's matches you can, right? So like that's the differences that separates between the two, and that's honestly what made them better. Because like Call of Duty knows what it is. That's why in Call of Duty, it's more often than not that it's basically recommended that you play every game mode as just team deathmatch, even if it's not team deathmatch. But it's recommended that every Battlefield game you play, it's always objective play, no matter what. That's where the saying PTFO came from. Play the fucking objective. But you know what? That's about all I had to say. Hope you guys have a good day, and I am done talking for now.